Hi everybody, today's video is a requested video on should you eat carbs and fats in the same meal. So basically when it comes to nutrition and eating, your dieting, your nutrition, people often think that you can't combine fats with carbs. So fats are things like avocado, peanut butter, nuts, oil. Those are the main things. Carbohydrates are things like fruit, and all fruit or carbs except for avocados. Avocado is a fruit, but it is 14 grams of fat per avocado roughly. Rice, carbohydrates, cereal, oatmeal, all of those are carbs. So can you combine carbs and fats in the same meal? Yes, you can. If you are about to go work out, typically you'll want to not do too much fats pre-workout because you don't want your body to be focused on digesting food when you're training or working out. You want your body to be focused on getting the blood flow to the muscle when you're training, when you're exercising. So usually you want to do fats a little bit like time after you work out. So if you work at 11, then you want to eat, fats, at 4 or something, or you couldn't eat it post. But to go back to the video, carbs and fats, yes, you can eat it in the same meal, but you don't want to go crazy. So you don't want to have, like high fats, like a McDonald's diet where you have, 30 grams of fat for a whole meal, and then, 200 grams of carbs from your French fries and then your bun from the burger. That's too much calories in one sitting. At least it can be too much for majority of people, especially if it's like fast food and you don't have enough fiber in your meal. So you need to make sure you're getting in the fiber that your body craves and desires, specifically for digestive purposes, because the good bacteria in your gut needs to feed off of that fiber to survive. When you introduce things like sugar, it actually feeds on the bad bacteria and your gut can grow, and then you can get into things like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And basically that's where you see a lot of people where their guts are really big from all the processed foods, low fiber content, and high sugar, and not enough water, not enough nutrients, not enough polyphenols, not enough flavonoids, all these nutrients that your body craves to have a slim kind of physique. Also that gets into genetics too. But yes, you can have carbs. The only thing you're going to want to check is your calories, right? So if you're going to have a bowl of spaghetti, you don't want to have a bowl of spaghetti with a ton of fat, like with a ton of olive oil, with a ton of sausage, with a ton of fats. Just keep it somewhat reasonable. Typically, if you go to restaurants, this is why people say to not go to restaurants, because restaurants are typically really high in carbs and fats. Their meals are purposefully designed to present to you so that you continue to come back, because fat is what gives food flavor and carbs is what's going to make you feel somewhat full, assuming that you're drinking liquids with your meal. And so, mentally you're going to feel sane, but typically when you go, majority of restaurants, when you go out and eat, they don't have fiber. So you end up feeling full for the time being, but then you're going to get hungry again. So fun fact as to why people say to avoid eating out, and also because they cook with a lot of butter. Usually restaurants cook with butter, unless you go to like a healthy restaurant, like a Kava. Here on the East Coast, there's a restaurant called Kava, really great healthy restaurant, salad, greens, and they cook with olive oil, I believe. But yeah, check your calories. So if you're going to eat lots of carbs, watch your fats. If you're going to eat lots of fats, watch your carbs. You can combine them, but I personally like to stay away from combining both of them. If you're going to have a lot of carbs, have some protein. If you're going to have a lot of fats, have some protein, but try to avoid, for the most part, like continuously having both. So check the calories for both, and then obviously, balance. So if you do choose to have carbs and fats in the same meal, you want to make sure you have that healthy balance so that nothing is overpowering one another pre or post training. Okay. So moral of the video, can you combine carbs and fats in the same meal? Yes, you can. An example of carbs and fats like in a meal is, for me, like I love oatmeal and peanut butter. So I will eat a bowl of oatmeal and some peanut butter with my oatmeal and mix it together, and it's great. It tastes really good and it satisfies all my cravings. Or something like a cookie. If you like sweets, you're kind of like me, where you like cookies and you like pastries, baking. Then cookies are a great example. Typically, a cookie you're going to look at between 8 to 14, sometimes up to 25 grams of fat per cookie, and you're looking at between 20 to 80 grams of carbs per cookie. So that's a lot of calories in that one little cookie, averaging, right, a cookie this big. It can be worth it if you haven't eaten all day. For example, if you haven't eaten all day, then yeah, you can have a meal where you have lots of carbs, lots of fats, like a lot of spaghetti and a lot of olive oil, maybe some high fat protein. But if you already ate breakfast, you already ate lunch, and then you're going to go out to dinner tonight with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, then you typically would want to stay away from that high carb, high fat, because you already have a lot of calories, unless your metabolism is like super fast and you like went hiking today and you burned a ton of calories, then that could be justified. But for the most part, I would encourage you to stay away from combining those two and to be mindful that if you're going to eat a lot of carbs, watch the fats. If you're going to eat lots of fats, watch the carbs. Another thing to watch out for, a quick tip, is if you go to like ice cream shops are loaded with fats. Okay, so you want to be careful. It's loaded with fats, loaded with carbs, and loaded with sugar. And it's like literally a recipe for disaster. So if you do want to eat ice cream, be mindful, of how often you get that, and if you're going to get your daily steps in for the day. Now, that's not to say to encourage you to be, to earn your meal, because meals shouldn't be earned. Meals are for sustenance, right? It's not for, you shouldn't be eating for taste necessarily. I mean, obviously, yes, but to an extent, you should be eating for sustenance and for recovery and for growth and for health. So, all right. So that is a little bit on the video. Carbs and fats, same meal. Yes, you can. Just be smart about it. Watch, the calories, and then staying balanced along the way. Thank you for watching today's video, and check out my other videos for more, and I will see you in the next video.